but we all know that if there's a text messaging contest and it's the three of us and a 14-year-old, the three of us don't have a prayer.
You're done.
So
yeah,
we're trying to do some things that are really going to appeal to them and get them excited about the fair and interested in coming.
Now, when you do the duct tape contest and the text messaging contest,
right?
Did you have some guru come to you and say, "Hey, we need to do this," or did you guys say, "Hey, that's a cool idea. Nobody else is doing it. Let's do it"?
Well, you know, that was part of it. One of the great things about our industry is we talk to a lot of other fairs, swap stories, share ideas, because for the most part, we're not competing with them.
Yeah.
You know, our patrons are going to come from a geographic area. Theirs are going to do the same. There's not going to be a lot of crossover. So when we see them do things like a text messaging contest, or we've also got geocaching this year, which I don't know of another fair that's done geocaching. There probably is, but we get ideas like that. And then like the text messaging, we'll pull some young kids in and say, all right, we want to have a contest. Tell us what you think. How should it work? What would you do? And really get their involvement. Because if we get
it's kind of like a focus group.
In a way, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We get their buy-in early, then they're going to be more excited about it and talk to their friends about it when the time comes.
I love the street names.
Yeah, that was a great project.
Those are pretty cool. I like the fact that you guys have information booths everywhere.
Right.
Because there's a lot of festivals. You know, not to really call anybody out, but there's a lot of festivals that their information booth is the information booth, and if you can't find it, you're screwed.
Yeah. You know, we've got our primary one right over here.
Yeah. The fair makes sure that you need any information, you can find it.
Yeah, and with all the buildings, and all the buildings are staffed.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for something, find someone in the building as well. This is a domestic arts building. The cookies and quilts and all of those related items, and you can see the ladies are in there getting it decorated and set up.
I know back in the day, I convinced my mother that it would have been probably in the 70s to enter some of her quilts into the fair, and she encouraged me to do some folding because I hate sewing. So I made the folded star, and we both were happy because we had got first place ribbons at the fair, and you know, it was a first time thing for us.
There you go.
My mom's went on to doing all kinds of quilts since then, but I think it was the fair that really encouraged her to keep going with it.
And those are the neat traditions that get handed down from one generation to the next. Not just the skills of quilting or whatever it may be, but now we enter it in the fair. Now we see how we stack up, and that's one of the great things that we're here for.
Now I noticed when we were back that way, they have the little White House.
Yeah.
How long has that been there?
Let's go back there. I meant to talk about that. There's something we're trying to do with that.
You guys have a lot of different theme days. I know one year you did a Dylan's Plus Card Day.
Right.
You had a Dylan's Plus Card you got in.
Doing that again this year on Monday.
Do you have people compete for those kind of spots, or do you dole those out to people, or
those we try to keep pretty tight reins on,
because you don't want just some idiot coming in and going, hey, I got $150, I want to sponsor the fair.
Right.
You've never heard of them, you don't know who they are.
Right.
They might have, you know, maybe a magazine somewhere that nobody's ever saw.
Without a gun on me. What's up with that?
Probably when you're at your best, right?
And you keep a pretty tight rein on that. You're only going to let actual businesses do that.
Well, there's criteria that we have that we look at, and so someone's not going to come in with just a little bit of money in their pocket and get the level of exposure or the recognition that someone like a Dillon's or some of our more significant Sprint, Bretzlaw, any of those are going to be able to do with this. So the White House, exactly when it first appeared, I can't tell you. But for many, many years, it was the home to the caretaker that lived on the grounds year-round.
Oh, really?
Yes, there was a family that lived there. Several years back.
How do they get their mail?
Yeah. Actually, they dropped it off at the office and they picked it up from us there.
Wow.
But there's no longer someone living there year-round. But what we have, we had the opportunity to pick up a house just outside our main entrance, right across from it. We actually own 3 properties out there now. But one of those, our caretaker moved to. During the fair now, we use this for hospitality functions. You can see a tent in the backyard. We'll have a Legislators' Day reception back there. We'll do things all throughout the fair using this house. It's a place for the fair board to kind of kick back and relax during the fair and just, get
You
rested
guys
up
get to
for-
relax during the fair?
I said the fair board. I'm not on the fair board. So while they're relaxing, we want them to be fresh. Now, we have a foundation that is in the process right now of raising funds. They would like to replace this with a new structure, and in that new structure, we would incorporate a museum.
Oh, that would be fantastic.
Because
That would be
we're
cool.
coming up on, this is our 98th fair. We're coming up on
the
on
100-year
the
mark.
100th
year.
and we're looking at a year-long celebration from 2012 to 2013, because 2012 will be the 100th fair, 2013 will be the 100th anniversary of the fair.
Oh, that's cool.
So we would really love to try and get this new thing in place by then. It all depends on how the fundraising goes, but we think a new structure with a museum that shows a lot of the history of the fair, because there's so many great stories to be told.
Now, you guys have these signs around the fair. Watch out for the train.
Right.
Is it? I always have to ask when I see things like that. Is it a cool little thing to put up, or did you guys have to do that because someone didn't realize? Oh, there's a train coming through here.
It's something that when you have 50 to 60,000 people on the fairgrounds in a given day, there's so much going on. Just as we're driving around, you're looking left, right, up, down. You're looking around. You may not always be thinking about a train showing up. And so that's just an added step we've put in there to just, help people.
Well, I lived here in Hutchinson for several years, and you've lived here most of your existence. If people don't understand that there are trains in Hutchinson,
Yeah, that's for sure.
they need to get it figured out. But you guys have a lot of great structures. Is that something you guys put together with like a planning expert? Or
We did. This goes back to the mid to late 90s. We worked with a company that specializes in facility